Welcome to the Spurs Curse. Nagelsmann, he's not gonna come. Luis Enrique, he's not gonna come. Who are we gonna go for? Ancelotti was the man, however, he's not gonna come either. Everyone was on their knees for him, even though he's got no top 5 league experience. However, he said he's not gonna come. He'd rather stay at Feyenoord. That's kind of concerning, isn't it? Now, who's the next guy everyone can jump on the Levy-in bus and get on board with? Ange Postecoglou. Ange Postecoglou. Look, I don't know how to pronounce his name. You don't need to either. He's got no top 8 league experience. That's based on UEFA's ranking. Now I know he's Australian and it's a bit more difficult to get up the rankings in the European leagues. However, he's been managing for 27 years and still is yet to impress in any top leagues. Look, anyone can win the league with Celtic. Celtics are pretty much the favorite to win the league every single year. And you might say, well, he's been in the Champions League and he's been in the Europa League and even the Conference League. He's got experience. Yeah, well, he's been in the Champions League with Celtic. They got 2 points and got eliminated as 4. Not exactly very good when he finally gets up against the good teams in Europe, huh? Okay, you might say, well, Europa League's maybe a bit more possible for Celtic, you know? Well, last season they were in Europa League and they got 3rd. So even against the more mid-table European teams, they still got 3rd and didn't even get through. Which means to get down to the Conference League. And yet, in the Conference League, against literal farmers, Bodø/Glimt, a Norwegian team, kicked them out in the knockout stages. He's got so many years of managing and still nothing to show for it, really. Yes, he's won the league with Celtic. I'm not gonna hit down on him for his achievements at Celtic. He's done very well. However, it's not enough, even close to enough, to get you a job at a Big 6 club in Premier League, let alone a mid-table club. Last time a manager came from the Scottish League to the Premier League, it was Steven Gerrard in 2021, I believe, when he won the league with Rangers. Arguably a much bigger achievement than winning the league with Celtics, because Rangers hadn't even won the league before 2011, which is, well, 10 years before. And everyone was, oh, he's got that aura, the way he plays. He came to Aston Villa and he failed. People were even raising him to be the next Liverpool manager, to come in instead of Klopp and taking this Liverpool team to the next level. He failed. He couldn't do it at Aston Villa. How can you go after seeing Steven Gerrard come from the Scottish League, doing a massive achievement with the Rangers, come to Aston Villa, a mid-table club at that point, and then fail, and then still think that Postecoglou should be the future manager, when he's got arguably less achievements than Steven Gerrard from that league? And you could say that, oh, it's down to the players, and Sevilla, they didn't have the right players and whatever. Well, first of all, Steven Gerrard, he got some of his own players that he wanted. He got someone like Coutinho, for example. He wasn't even there for a year. And the guy who replaced him, Unai Emery, well, he's just gotten that exact team to the Conference League. He's got them to European football for the first time in how many years? So now that I have put to bed these managers like Ancelotti, who we shouldn't even have been worrying about, Postecoglou, he shouldn't ever be mentioned to come into Spurs while he haven't done anything else in the top 5 leagues. Nagelsmann, he's not gonna come. Luis Enrique, he's not gonna come. So who is really left? Well, De Zerbi is left. He's not gonna leave Brighton. Graham Potter could be a possibility. Maybe a lot of fans are thinking it's too early for him to come back. The one and only, the savior, the Don, the chosen one, Marcelo Gallardo should be the man to come. He is that guy. He is the guy. He is the guy that is, if we don't get Nagelsmann, we get this guy. Because like, even if you say that there's some hope that Nagelsmann, he might, you know, we might bite the bullet. Now there's links to Napoli about Nagelsmann, you know? I mean, he might go Napoli because they need a manager. Napoli who's also been linked to Marcelo Gallardo briefly. But we finally got our first link today where it said that Marcelo Gallardo might be an option. He might be an option. You think it's because Daniel Levy don't really know who he is? Let me tell you who he is. Marcelo Gallardo is a manager who's come in and managed River Plate since 2014 to 2022, which means that he is a man who's ready for a project. He completely transformed that River Plate team. Between 2014 and 2022, he won 12 trophies with them, including the league as well. And now he's a free agent, which means you don't have to pay anything to get him. Isn't that crazy? You just have to give him a salary and back him a bit. That's crazy, huh? How we don't have to pay millions to get a manager, just like we had to pay 15 millions apparently to get on a slot. And by the way, he's got a UEFA Pro license, which Ange Postecoglou don't. It's not that difficult of a choice, really. Before becoming a free agent as well, he was linked to the likes of Barcelona. If you're linked to Barcelona, I'm pretty sure you're good enough for Tottenham too. He's been the next up-and-coming Argentinian manager for years, since 2017, I think. People has been bigging him up as being this next big, great Argentinian manager. but he's been wanting to stay at River Plate. Also, for those of you who don't actually know much about him, he does play aggressive and attacking football. He plays really attractive football. It is really, for us, the second coming of Poch in a way. He's great at developing young stars, you know, the likes of Julian Alvarez. And also, if you're concerned about his lack of European experience or big top 5 leagues experience, as with the other coaches we're currently interested in, which is a perfectly fine concern. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be worried about that. The only thing is that the Argentinian league is apparently not as well looked at as the Scottish league is, because Scotland has a history of winning the European Cups back in the day, and also because it's in Europe. And a lot of people think that because it's in Europe it is a better league and whatever, but I would say that Gallardo, he's got a lot more prestige winning the Argentinian league with River Plate than Ange Postecoglou has with winning the Scottish league with Celtic. But Marcelo Gallardo does have some form of experience, because he did coach, as I mentioned in my previous video, he did coach Riyadh All-Star team, so the Saudi League's All-Star team, when they played against PSG. It was basically Saudi Arabian All-Star team against PSG's best team. And I'm saying best team because they started with Neymar, Messi, Mbappe. I mean, you can name anyone and they probably started. Of course, it's a friendly match and they did get subbed out around the 63rd minute, but that's still 63 minutes of probably the best PSG team up against Marcelo Gallardo's Riyadh All-Star team, a team which he had to manage and set together under not a lot of time, really. I mean, you gotta think, this is a team of different players from different teams from the Saudi league. You can't just magically make them all work, but he somehow did in a way. They did lose. I'm not gonna sit here and make a whole fairy tale, but they lost by 1 goal only. They only lost 5-4. They scored 4 goals against PSG's best team. But yeah, that's a great result. When you think about the circumstances, when you think about Marcelo Gallardo, it's his first time managing against a big team. And not just a big team, one of the biggest in the world in terms of talent on a team, PSG. And he barely lost, only by 1 goal. And this is, as I said, PSG's very best first team that played against the Saudi league team. You probably know only half the players who even played in that Riyadh All-Star team. Ronaldo, Luis Gustavo, Talisca, and then a few others. It wasn't filled out with big names like Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, you know? So that is the most European experience he's got. I won't sit here and fill you with BS, but he is the chosen one. I'm sorry to say, I mean, he is the one, and we have to take a gamble on him, man. He's the only one, together with Nagelsmann, in my opinion, possibly Graham Potter even, who can come in and save this team. Nagelsmann is not gonna come, so we have to get him. We have to get him, and then we have to back him. We have to start this project with him. Sign him for 4 or 5 years, and then just trust him. It might not be perfect at the start, but it definitely will be good at some point. And look, as for Nagelsmann, if we were to make a deal, I understand that maybe they don't want a sporting director who Nagelsmann picked, because in case Nagelsmann does an Antonio Conte or Jose Mourinho and leaves or get fired after 1.5 seasons or 6 days before final, then we're stuck with a sporting director who was made for Nagelsmann. So I would say if we were to bite the bullet and get Nagelsmann, we have to sign him down to at least a 3, 4, 5-year contract to make sure that we get the most out of him with the sporting director in case something happens, you know. But that is the chosen one, Marcelo Gallardo. You guys have to understand how good this man is and how well he will be doing for this team if he were to come. I'll see you in the next video.